When a video game remake or remaster is announced, probably the #1 feature fans are most excited for are the quality of life improvements. And luckily for us, Konami and their development team took a lot of inspiration from Metal Gear Solid 5 to make Delta Snake Eater a more modern experience. The original Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite video game of all time, and I believe it is a masterpiece of a video game, but it does have some rough edges that need some smoothing out. I mean, come on. It's a 2004 game from the PS2 era. There's gonna be some rough parts, right? So let's cover the essential quality of life improvements from Delta Snake Eater. So this first quality of life improvement mechanic is probably the most obvious when it comes to the Delta remake, and that's changing your camo on the fly in real gameplay time. For the most part, you no longer have to go to the main menu to change your camo every single time. With a push of a button, you can see your different camo combinations available to you and how they're going to affect your current camo index. When you start a new game, this little menu is going to give you the most generic combinations for your camo. So as you find new camos along your journey, or you want to use the different special camos, you have to go to the menu and equip them, and then next time you want to quick change your camo, the menu will remember those different combinations you chose. Now personally, my favorite quality of life improvement in Delta Snake Eater is loading a saved file. I know, it might sound trivial, it might sound dumb, but I believe this is a huge deal. In the original game, when you're loading a saved file, it gave you very minimal information. And the biggest improvement here is you can actually see a profile picture of the areas where you last saved. Because I don't know about you, but I don't speak Russian. So when I see an area and it says Gorny, sometimes I forget where that is. I mean, I have years and years of playing this game, so I have some of the areas memorized by name, but you know what? Having a profile picture representing the area is perfect. I love it. This next one is pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple. We can now pause during cutscenes, because in the original game, yeah, you could never pause during cutscenes. You were stuck watching the entire thing through. I mean, yeah, you could skip them, but that was your only option. Let me tell you, man, some of these cutscenes are really freaking long, okay? These are Metal Gear cutscenes, all right? These are like known. These are infamous for having like half-hour cutscenes. So sometimes, you know, I gotta pee, or I gotta cook something, or I'm like checking on the baby real quick because she's crying. Or, you know, I don't know, maybe the baby has a poopy diaper. It's very nice to just pause so I don't miss anything. And it's also really nice because when you're in the pause menu, you can go to photo mode. So here is another loading a saved file mechanic. While you're in real game time, you can go to your menu and load a saved profile, or go to the last autosave profile. In the original game, it was a lot more inconvenient and difficult. You basically had to shut down your entire current playthrough and basically reboot the game. You had to experience the opening cutscenes, the opening credits, and go to the main menu of the game and load from there. But now you can just push the pause button and load any saved file right then and there, and it is a lot more quicker and snappier. You can also load an autosave profile. Yes, this remake has an autosave feature, which makes any full stealth playthroughs a whole lot easier. If you're trying to get no alert phases and do something like Fox Sound rank, autosave feature makes everything so much easier and convenient. If you mess up and accidentally get spotted by the enemy, just use autosave and you're good to go. Speaking of Fox Sound, to unlock certain titles or ranks like Fox Sound rank, you need to achieve certain statistics along your playthrough. In the original game, there was no way to view these statistics until you beat the game and get to the end of the credits. But now, just with a push of a button and going to the pause menu, you can see your current statistics under Records Now. And this is beautiful, it's perfect. This can also show us what exactly counts as an official kill or not. For example, throwing an enemy soldier off of a cliff, drowning them in water, throwing a venomous animal at the enemy, feeding them poisonous food, throwing them on an electric fence, throwing them on one of their own traps, etc. And speaking of titles and different ranks, if you go to the main menu and you go to records and titles, you can see every single title that you can achieve and all the different statistics you need to achieve to unlock said title or rank. And if there is a reward available for achieving this certain title, it'll tell you what the reward is. There is a Gakko and a Kerotan figure in every single area of the game. And if you go to the pause menu, there is a checklist to tell you if you've already found it and shot the certain figure in that area. As you can see right here, the Kerotan frog, we did not shoot it before, but if we go to the pause menu now, it's checked off. Boom. If you go to the main menu, you can go to extras, and then you'll find every single food item you found throughout your playthroughs and all the information on said food items. It'll tell you how it tasted and exactly how much stamina they recover if you eat them. And of course, it'll give a little description that Paramedic gives you. You can now skip over parts of radio dialogue and it will not mute the rest of the conversation like it did in the original game.
The security in the West Wing were the only ones who are cleared. One of those people is Major Rykov. First, you'll have to take Rykov. You're in the vicinity of the East.
All right, but why?
Huh?
Why do I have to steal Rykov's clothes from him?
That's not going to work this time.
What's that supposed to mean?
What indeed?
You got some instant noodles, huh?
Instant noodles?
No, that's not what I meant.
Then what did you mean?
Good. It's the giant building in the center of the fortress.
There is a brand new equipment item called the compass, which acts as an objective marker or a waypoint. When you equip the compass, there is no battery required, and it'll show on the top right of the screen. It's not too intrusive, but personally, I don't like it up there. I think it just takes up too much of the screen area. But the yellow dot is where you want to go, and personally, I just don't think this item is necessary, but a brand new player to the game may find this very useful. This is still a very linear experience, a very linear game. There are some open areas, but for the most part, it shouldn't be too confusing on where to go. But it's here if you need it. I don't know if this technically classifies as a quality of life improvement, but it is a gameplay improvement. And of course, I'm talking about crouch walking. In the original game, you were able to crouch down on one knee, but you were stationary and you could not move in that spot. This is a huge welcome addition to Snake Eater because all Metal Gear games after the original Snake Eater, every single one had crouch walk. Another just overall improvement to the movement system is while you're walking or running, you can go down to a crawl in one smooth motion. And the other way as well, when you're in a crawl stance and you go up to a walk or run, it's just a lot more smoother experience overall. Once again, I'm not too sure if this counts as a quality of life improvement. It's more of just an overall gameplay improvement. The whole aiming and shooting system is entirely overhauled and it is beautiful. Over the shoulder aiming and the crosshairs with your firearms is perfect. And it is basically copied from Metal Gear Solid 5, and that's exactly what I wanted. Moving and shooting at the same exact time is a lot more smoother and a lot more streamlined. It's perfect. You can still aim down your sights, but just overall, everything about the aiming and shooting in Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is streamlined and a lot more efficient and a lot more convenient. Now this is a big one. We can move and shoot at the same exact time while using the RPG and the sniper rifle. While equipping the sniper rifle or RPG in the original game, you were stuck in one single spot and you could not move. You can like aim around and look in different directions, but you could not move and walk. You were stuck in a single spot. Another gameplay mechanic or quality of life improvement that was taken from Metal Gear Solid 5 is the throwing arc when you're trying to throw an item like a grenade. In the original game, there was no indicator where your item was going to land when you threw it. It takes a lot of practice with the original throwing system and you just had to do your best and just hope and pray it lands where you want. But now there is an arc indicator showing you exactly where your item is going to land when you throw it. This also applies to throwing any food items to distract enemies or throwing any live animals you've caught, like a venomous snake or a venomous bug. So if you want to throw a venomous animal at the enemy, it is a lot more easier to figure out where it's going to land and actually hit the enemy. This one is pretty self-explanatory. In the cure menu, if Snake suffers any major injuries, there is a checklist to show you what actions you need to take in order to take care of that injury. When loading a New Game Plus, the game offers more gameplay experiences that you can change. For example, you can change going into New Style or Legacy mode, you can change the difficulty in New Game Plus, and you can change any tips or tricks that are on the screen. Customizing your gameplay overall is a huge improvement over the old game. Now, while you're in a game, you can choose Legacy Style or New Style while playing. You can choose if you want the tips on or off on the screen. You can customize your HUD menu. The screen and HUD isn't too cluttered, but I believe you can turn some stuff off. For example, the enemy alert indicator, which is a brand new quality of life improvement added to this game compared to the original, but I just don't like it. I think it's unnecessary, so I turn it off, even if it is cool. Now this one is very useful for any new fans or new gamers to the Metal Gear series. Another big complaint I've seen about the original game is there is no official tutorial. The game doesn't really tell you or show you how to play the actual game, which isn't entirely true. There are some tutorials and some tips or tricks or some explanations, but whatever, I get it, okay? Anyways, there is no excuse anymore. There is a tips, tricks, and tutorial menu right in the pause screen that tells you everything about the game and everything you need to know, and it'll tell you more as the game goes on. For example, boss fights, it'll give you some tips while you're in a boss fight. Every boss fight in this game has an invulnerability phase after you hit them a few times where you cannot damage them until that phase resets. And now there is an indicator telling you when the invulnerability stage is active and when it's inactive. So when their health bar is entirely grayed out or blacked out, that is when you can no longer damage them and you have to wait until it resets to all white. In the original game, the difficulty settings gave you little to no information on how it's going to alter the gameplay, but now there is an explanation and everything you can expect from every single difficulty, and this is amazing. I love this. Now this one is mostly helpful for streamers because at the end of the game, there is a song playing during the credits that you cannot skip and you cannot mute. You are stuck watching the entire credits roll and stuck listening to this song, and this song will copyright your stream. But now you can just skip the credits and you don't have to worry about the song anymore. Even if it is a good song, I've heard it like 100 times at this point. And also, you had to wait for this to end to view your statistics at the end of the game. No more. You can just skip it to get your final rank or your final title at the end of the game.